Network, and we're back with another video. And today we're talking about how to get a paid off auto loan on a CPN. And this is the network, and we're at educational purposes only, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get into it. So, lease assumption. So basically, when we're talking about how to get a paid off auto loan on a CPN, we're obviously not going to talk about zombie debt right now because we've already discussed that topic, and we also discussed that topic completely inside of the full network master course, and that is another alternative to be able to get a full paid off auto loan onto your credit profile. But that does take a different process. But this is an easier process that most people can do without having to get a debt portfolio and to buy zombie debt and to be able to have a little bit more advanced knowledge on the whole process. So right now we're talking about lease assumption. So in a lease assumption, one individual assumes responsibility for an existing lease from another party. For instance, envision your acquaintance with 12 months left on their car lease, and you decide to take over. You would step in, manage the monthly lease payments for the remaining term, and upon the lease conclusion, handle the vehicle's return as if you were the initial leasee. This process offers simplicity and potential financial gains if leveraged wisely. So what's the benefit of this process? For the buyer, the person assuming the lease, you can take over an existing lease with no money down and with a shorter lease term that you would normally have to take on if you were to write a whole new lease. In most cases, it is difficult to even find a short-term lease these days, with the average lease term ranging over 40 months. Taking over a lease can result in substantial savings and typically entails a brief lease commitment. Often lease sellers are eager to entice potential buyers with incentives, which may include cash or other enticing terms. Now, guys, we're not really looking for cash or anything like that in regards to this process, that in regards to why we're speaking about it, but we're speaking about it because we are looking for lease terms that are short and almost towards the end of their term, so this can eventually report to your CPN, and then this is going to report as a paid off auto loan on your CPN, and this boosts a CPN to a whole different level. Guys, this is when a CPN can start getting approved for major credit cards, for major banks, for major things that can actually get you big balances on your profiles and be able to take you to the next level with your profiles. But this also entails someone having to have patience. So this isn't something that you can just do in 2 months, guys. And a lot of people in the chat and in the network need to understand that these things do take a little time. And you don't have to always wait on things to come to fruition. So you can have things in different layers. You can have a CPN profile that is taking time to build and taking time to accrue the credit that it needs to be able to do what you want to do in the end with the profile. And you also can have a profile that you do things a little bit more quickly. These things aren't limited to one option or one way to do things. So right now we're talking about the lease assumption, and this takes a little time, guys, and time takes patience. So what are you looking for in a lease transfer? So you want a car with a cheap monthly payment, enough miles to drive every month, and it's close to where you live. Some people like short leases, but others prefer longer ones because they plan to keep the car for a while. Sometimes you might find a lease deal that's really great, but make sure you understand everything about it, like how many miles you can still drive and what happens at the end of the lease. Here are some things people often look at. So monthly payment, obviously. Is it cheaper than getting a new lease? If not, remember, you don't have to pay any money up front for this lease. More information on this in the master course. So guys, obviously we're going to talk about all of this in the master course in full, complete detail, so you know exactly how to do this process. But we're just talking about it in the form of giving you guys the idea of how all of this works, because there's a lot of different ideas that people don't understand that CPNs could help you execute. And a lot of people think that CPNs are just used for short-term things, and really a CPN is really built for you to do things in long-term references, and also for you to be able to invest in long-term ideas. Once again, this is not financial advice, guys, and this is educational purposes only. Next, make contact with the seller. So when you're looking to take over a lease, whether online or on the phone, make sure to ask some important questions before you start negotiating. Since you can't see the car in person most of the time, it's important to ask questions that help you understand its condition. Besides knowing about the car's condition, you should also find out about the lease terms to make sure you're not getting into any trouble by taking over a lease that's not being properly explained. So guys, this should be obvious information, but a lot of people rush in the processes and try to get things done really quickly. They might take this video and listen to the video and then try to go straight into trying to get into a lease assumption. But you need to make sure that you fully look over the lease. And if you're not sure how to look over a lease, I can help you guys with sources on people that can help you look over these leases. You need to make sure that you aren't getting yourself into something that can negatively affect you because you're trying to do something to make a step further. And I don't suggest if you're new to CPNs or if you're new to this whole process, I don't suggest you get straight into this level. This is more for intermediate or for advanced people in regards to CPNs. So key things to inquire. So couple questions. So what is the most recent odometer reading? Have there been any pets in the car? Does the list Listed payment include taxes. Has it been changed from the original lease contract? Are there any dents, dings, etc.? Are there any stains in the interior? Are there windows free of scratches or dings? How much tread is left on the tires? Are you offering a cash incentive? Paying a month's payment or two? Providing a flat cash settlement at signing? Offering cash to account for potential over mileage? Are you willing to cover shipping costs if necessary? What are the fees for exceeding the mileage limit? Is there an accident report available for this vehicle? Has the car been smoked in? Are there any options or features not mentioned in the advertisement? So those are some questions you can ask, guys. You can screenshot that list to make sure that you at least ask those questions, guys, and just make sure that you take a good look at the lease, and then you're going to move on to negotiating the deal. So your lease takeover is open to negotiation, so remember that. But you should know what you can and cannot negotiate. You can negotiate with the seller easily, even through email, if you don't want to talk on the phone or meet in person. Sometimes you can't meet in person if the person is not exactly where you are or in the same area. So it's okay to ask the seller for some kind of a bonus if the deal isn't already a good one. This could be a month's lease payment, some money, or maybe even an extra feature in the car like a stereo. You have lots of options, so don't be afraid to ask. The transfer process. So to start the process of transferring the lease, it can take anywhere from 1 to 2 to 3 weeks, depending on you and the seller and the leasing company. The first step is usually a credit check. The leasing company wants to make sure that you, the new leasing, has good or better credit than the person you're taking over the lease from. It's kind of obviously. This is similar to when you buy a car from a dealer. They want to be sure you're a reliable customer. So the transfer process. So to start your credit check, just get in touch with the leasing company you want to transfer your lease with and ask for a lease transfer application. This application will be similar to one for a new lease. So once you fill it out, you'll send it back to the fax number or mailing address they give you. So it's always going to look like an actual application because it actually is an actual application. You're just transferring it to yourself. The leasing company will then review your application and let you know your status. If you get approved, you can move on to the lease transfer paperwork. Once you and the seller agree on the deal, your next step is to start the lease transfer process. This can take anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks, depending on you, the seller, and the leasing company. So more on the transfer process. So to start, get a credit check. The leasing company needs you, the new leasee, to have good or better credit than the person you're taking the lease from, just like when buying a car from the dealer, like we were speaking of earlier. They want to make sure you're a reliable customer. Based on thousands of previous lease transfers, it's obvious that the leasing companies don't lower their credit expectations for lease transfers. To begin your credit check, contact the lease company you want to transfer your lease with and ask for a lease transfer application. Once you filled it out, send it back to them. They'll review it and let you know if you're approved. Once you're approved, you can start the lease transfer paperwork. So for the full detailed guide, purchase the master course, guys. So we'll have all of the things you need to say, the things you need to do in regards to the leasing transfer process. For the full guide on how to do a lease transfer, get a strong primary on your CP profile, etc. Get our master course. The master course includes this information and much more information needed to build a fully equipped profile and much more. Educational purposes only, and that would be in the link below, guys. Also subscribe to the Telegram to keep updated on what's going on in Tradelines, etc. And thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe on the video. Once again, for that master course, click the link below. Subscribe to us via Tele and link below. And we'll see you on the next one.